please welcome our next speaker, Rajesh Bansal. Please welcome Rajesh.
Hello everyone. In fact, when Gaurav came through and he was having this list of 25 things, Gaurav, I must say, there is not much left to what I need to say, because trust me guys, that out of those 25 things, and question I was about to ask Gaurav, if I have to pick those 5 things, trust me, if all of you here, a single takeaway could be those 5 things which I can bring into my life, and I was counting how much of them are part of my life. I could count 15, but trust me, it's not in a job that you learn what matters, but maybe an entrepreneurship. And when you're doing a job, ask yourself, am I running a company within a company? I was doing that in Philips, and that was primarily the success. I didn't care whether my boss in my appraisal would appraise me well, but I used to fight with him for 5 rupees, that I can save this 5 rupees because there is a protocol. We are not doing it for 15 years, doesn't mean that we can't do it in another 5 minutes. That decision cannot be taken. So I think my entrepreneurial journey actually started with my job. I never thought, and I honestly never thought that I will ever be in business, because when you are educated as an engineer, once then you go into an MBA, you are actually spoiled, and typically in Indian scenario, you definitely land up into one of the most coveted jobs. And then, as people say, and as Gaurav also pointed out, that life is cool, you will get possibly a good wife, you can earn yourself, you can, and all of that. And I also thought that, honestly speaking. And trust me guys, trust me God, this happens to you. But inside you, what is going on, what you are from inside, what you can achieve, you really don't answer those questions, because you're answering to the world what they are asking you. You are not asking yourself where you are. So Gaurav, I think I stretched it a bit, but guys, trust me, I personally would want that piece of 25 things from you, so that I can add another 10 more to my life and make it a little better. So starting with me, I think most of the things, thanks to Suresh ji of listing down what happened to F&D, what happened to me. I won't really get into details about company, what we do. That you can anytime, whenever you are looking for buying any audio, just give me a call and I'll set it for you. And I will not promote my brand or company, because I'll just advise you with a proper solution. Here again, the way I'll structure this presentation is, I'll put across some 5-6 key learnings in this journey of 14-15 years which I had. There will be a story behind that. Because to a learning, if there is a story, it sticks, And again, 4-5 things which possibly I follow in my daily life, which I picked up, which did not come naturally, but by reading or something, and having applied that, since, and how they changed the things for me. Because it must have been 100 things through this journey. I must have done, I must have been following, but there are 4-5 things which I believe matter. They have, every day when I do those things, it takes me a step further. So that's where we are. So the first learning, so coming back to the presentation, anything which you would want. So structure is basically 4-5 learnings, and where my life story adds to it. That learning and how I gained that learning. What I do in my general life, and followed by Q&A. Sounds good?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So first learning is, it's not about you, it's about them, right? Always follow this. So for example, this platform. So one part is, you've achieved something in life that you are invited here, but is it big enough? No, it's not big enough. What is big enough is that, do I care enough about people here who have come, taken out time, listening to you? Can I add value to them? So how do I add value to them? So I think Suresh informed us around 14 days back, when we heard about my mind said that it's easy to go into a presentation, not prepare a presentation, but honestly, it's been some 7 years or 8 years which I've been off presentations. But I made sure that I add some value, so I put down few things so that at the end of it, when you guys leave, at least there is something inside that there's one thing we picked up from this guy. So really guys, wherever you are presenting, whether you are with your employees, just ask yourself, how can I add value to them? So it's not about you, it's about them. Make sure you're preparing, if you are giving a talk, you're preparing well for it. Because people who have come have given enough time. So if I total up the time of each, so let's say there are 50 people out here, it will be a 2 or 3 hour session, 150 hours, and if you just give 5 hours preparing this presentation, this session will be worth it, right? The same thing which I follow for my employees, So what I get into office, I just think one thing. It's not about you, Rajesh. It's not about where would F&D go. It is about 150 odd people which work with me. Can their kids, can their wife, can their life get better? So the day you start going into your office with that mindset, trust me, your brand, you yourself, your life, everything goes on to an improvement mode. Because it's no more about you and you're thinking about them. And them could be various phrases. Here you are audience, there your employees, and the most important them, I think in this journey for me, which I've learned, is your consumers. Whatever you are selling, see, honestly, all of us can earn a lifestyle by doing business. And if I don't talk about business, it would just mean that I'm giving some general gyan. Did I create a smile on my consumer face? And if the answer is yes, and I think then you have done the job for your consumer as well. So that's the first lesson, that it's not about you, it's about them. The second thing, don't ever lose that value of a smaller step. So the step which brought you or which will take you to the next level is very critical. Giving that importance to place where you are, not considering it small and making it big, is really the definition or the journey of life you should be taking, right? Okay, another very sweet point, okay? So, honestly, if I say that I own an Audi today, it would look like a typical Delhiite flaunting his car, but here why I want to say that the first car which we owned was a Maruti 800. I don't remember the number of the car which I have today, but I remember the number of car which it was 5401. It was a second-hand Maruti, because that was the best we could afford at that time. Again, that small Maruti is much bigger than a Mercedes or anything which my family owned would later, because all 3 of our siblings, my dad, learned driving on that car. So imagine if I didn't know how to drive, what would be the use of getting any other car? So again, coming back to whether that small was big for you, that small should always be big for you, because trust me, that first step, that first car, that first home is leading your path to something big which you are chasing, right?
I love the car.
I know.
Somebody does have that car.
Okay, and another, so the third learning here, right? I think this is fundamental to what I am today. And in fact, Gaurav also pointed, surround yourself with intelligent, smart people who are positive, and let me be a little hard. Don't hesitate in saying or keeping away people who are negative. Trust me, guys, so you have limited time, you have limited life, and you have limited people whom you can make feel special. One negative interaction in a day will squeeze maybe the next day, maybe that only. Just don't hesitate to say, and inside you know that this discussion is negative, just walk off from it. And it might sound rude, but other part of it is how it affected my life. So we came from Rourkela to Delhi because there were riots in Rourkela. My dad was running a simple kirana shop there, okay? So I think that's another learning. Have a hero in your life, and it is as good as saying have a mentor in your life. I have a great mentor in form of my father. So I know that he ran a kirana store. When we came here, so the definition of education was get your kids into school, right? And school could be an Hindi medium or an English medium. But honestly, if your parents are humble, they are not much aware that this is the critical step in the journey of your kids. It can go adversely wrong, right? So again, so that neighbor told my mother, let me help you out getting your kids into one of the good schools in Delhi so that their career is framed the way they want. And then there was no looking back. We got, all three of us got into, so I did my schooling for Manav study. I don't know what rank it is in today, but trust me, it was one of the brilliant schools that time in Delhi. But again, the power of, so we call it network today, but it is taking an advice, taking an action on that advice, and see what wonders it can do. Again in school, so again coming back, how mentors and good people. So somehow the group of friends I had, were typically the ones which were good at academics. So they were like good at academics and good at sports. So as would happen that you create a group. All of us, if you recall your school days, still there you will be having some 4 or 5 people who you gelled with. Those 4 or 5 people could be good in sports. Those 4 or 5 people could be good in sports. My destiny got defined with that because they were good in academics. They wanted to do engineering. They wanted to learn German language, and I followed them. Because my parents, for them, it was important I should pass the school. Because that's for them was education, right? But thanks to all those guys, and that group still is there. The 5 of us. So just to give you an example, how brilliant that group was. So one of the guys is a senior director with Bank of America. One is leading one of the finest tech companies in semiconductors. He's leading that company in India. One has moved to Canada again in a senior director role. But point is, you never ever lose value of. So in a nutshell, what parents are to most kids, these friends were to me in terms of guiding my career journey. Again, so now coming to this part and where the things have happened, I have relished this part of mentors, and I will give much credit to, I recently got attached to this Satviko group, Do we have mentors there? It's your mindset, so I don't know, if I take an average age of that group, I might be on the later half of the average. I would want to, might want to mentor few, but this group actually pushed me to start a new venture after scaling up one venture which I started 8 years back, just because being part of a community, I could take a courage of starting a new venture. So that's how, what I really want to say. If any one of you have not believed in power of relationship and networks, please start believing it. It works, right? Again, again picking up off the 25 rules, don't stop learning. I made books as my coaches. So it's not so sudden that you will get into ranks with good people. If you don't have a title of a senior manager, senior brand manager, a director, trust me, 7-8 years back, again the story of a good wife and a good home and a good friends and a good, nothing will happen. 8 years back, if you said you are an entrepreneur, trust me, अच्छा business है. मतलब Delhi में typically if you are a businessman, you are not a good guy. So anyways, I think I also now after having traveled this 8-10 years as an entrepreneur, I still say hello to a lot of people and say that yes, entrepreneurship is not bad if it's done with the right mindset, with the vision and with the passion. So now I think I don't have to say much. Everybody has realized that thanks to all the educated people who are taking up entrepreneurship as a career, right? So that's another learning which was there. I'll just try to now. I think there's been a lot of things which. So I think final 2-3 things, which I would just want to say and end this presentation with. So see, guys, I think in your journey, I don't know how much of us we realize that there are opportunities which not. So it's not that it will come in some structured form. Yeah, your promotion would come in a structured form if you've met your KPIs. Yes, you know that you will be promoted as senior manager. But opportunities are different. These are paths to having a good life, and you have to really see, is this an opportunity and should I start taking action? So one very, very fundamental big part is take action. So for me, I have kept on reading, could have kept on making notes and do nothing about it. Read 2 books in your life, make them your Bible. Ask yourself that out of those 2 books, am I doing 5 things? The rule of 5 which I follow, I have not read anybody, but the 5 things. So for example, if I go out today from here, are there 5 things which I can put into my life? And that's all. You don't have to do much. If in every moment you deliberately strive to be happy, so if I am going, so you're stuck in a traffic, you switch on a podcast, because you can't do anything about where you're stuck. Because neither that traffic police guy would be there, he is not helping any which ways. You can't help, you can't just go out of the car and move. The best option is deliberately, and I am just forcing this word of being deliberate, because if you are not deliberate about being happy, you won't be happy. Pick a moment, if you are in a moment. So for example, we are here. I must be boring you guys to death with my learnings. But that is what I'm supposed to do, to share something which I've learned. But what is the best way to be happy then? Pick up a single thing which Gaurav must have said, or I must have said. Think about applying that thing in life and say that, and trust me that happiness will automatically flow into you. You are forced by your parents to attend a satsang, example, I was, right? I honestly do not believe in much of that stuff, but point is, if there is no option, then I can say, how can I be happy here, right? How can I ensure that when I go back I'm happy? So I said, just let's listen to this guy, take one thought which can make me happy, and for the entire 2 hours I was looking for that moment, and I was happy ki ek moment to milega. Right? So guys, just one very, very last lesson is, let not happiness escape your lives. I wanted to take the company to 500 crore, right? And then I said that whatever we did till now won't work, won't take the company. And again, the problem is that I got spoiled too much with books. And there is a classic book which is called that what got you here won't take you there. So that was, I think 1 year back, that was the time for F&D to get right mentors and right mindset. And my family completely refused. They said, you don't have a choice. Company is not going from 100 to 500, it will stay like this. So difficult moment came. I had to take a decision, either to quit F&D, fight with my family saying that, and I completely lost. I was saying that I have to now get back into job because I am not doing F&D anymore because I am not adding value. That time it was 0, so I said that sitting with F&D, coming to office, doing nothing is not. I moved out of office. I know it would sound brutal, but that's where, so I know that I am going to I am going to office, I am not happy. If I am not happy, I am not doing this. So I moved out of my own office, didn't go to office next day, and I told my dad, that's it. My journey of 100 crores or 120 crores, whatever it is, ends here. I don't know what I would do. And the God has been great. I think then I started step by step, small steps, every day. And today we launched a month back another brand. We just tied up with Soundboard. So that was a point where I didn't know what would happen to my life. Now it's I am happy that happened.
The smile is the biggest asset, right? This is what you do. So
Honestly, you are very young today. You have to believe that you are young.
Yes, I take your suggestion with that.
And by the way, I am also in that group, whatever. I'm the youngest.
So the first question is, as sorry Gaurav, I have referred to your slide so much, but that was so. Answer is why. You know, why are you doing it? And my answer is, will that decision make you happy? Just because the world is moving into startup, don't do that. If you are happy with your job, you know, don't say, is it giving me $1 million? Trust me, if you are happy, the world around will be happy. My second advice, if you have answered yes, I would be happy because that's my passion. I would say structure it. Structure it. It sounds bookish, guys. And one advice which I got from somebody in life, either there is one right answer to a problem. Rest all is interpretation of the mind. His mind might say that nahi boss, तुम लाख स्पीकर बेचते हो वो गलत है, 10,000 बेचो 20% के margin. But there is answer that a brand is positioned to an X crowd and it can sell lakhs, so that's the right answer. So believe in that. Find out that if you have to do this startup, what is that you have to do in the first year? My mind can't retain lot of things. But since if I don't want to lose on the valuable stuff which is there in life, I make sure it's there, right? So write down writing down and data. Both these things are brutal. I got into fight with my family because of these two things. Because I said, this is the written data journey of F&D from 100 to 500 crore. This is possible. If you're denying it, it's your fear which is denying it. But my belief is that it can happen. So for your own startup, I would just say, if you are convinced that it can do, put a number to it. Don't put, and start small. So for example, I'll give you for my, this current brand, the first year goal is, can I achieve 1 million customers? As simple as that. You know, so one single goal, after you clarified that goal, write the first 3 months step. So what I wrote after that, I have to register the company, I have to get the IC code, I have to get a good website. So there were some 10 things I wrote in the first 3 months. Trust me, I did all those 10 things and I was convinced that 1 million will happen. So my fundamental advice is, first answer, will you be happy doing it? If yes, please put it down on a paper, watch it every day, take one single small action to make that happen every day. Don't think, idea, all that is fine, you know, brilliant brain, brilliant idea. 2-hour session with venture capitalists came out, wow man, you know, we got the world. But next day if you don't get into your office, roll your sleeve and don't take an action on that, trust me, everything gets wasted. Yeah?
So, I have a question, and maybe Gaurav, you can also answer that. During your initial days when you were just starting it up, have you come across a situation where you share your vision, share your thought process that what you want to achieve, and someone says, "Hey boss, this is not marketable, this is not fundable, think something else." And how do you then? I mean, do you change it? What would you do? I mean, just get discouraged about this. It's not fundable.
Okay. So I believe in one thing. Rejections make you strong. Period. And believe that that's the thought of one guy. There are a million people ready to fund your idea. Idea is you went. So there is this was just a wrong interaction. If you have a belief, so your belief gets bought in by anybody who's putting the money, right? Maybe he's struggling with his own ideas or this thing. As a person, yes, it happened to me. It happened to me in a different way. In Philips, again, you know, and you have to be lucky if such experience. In Philips, I remember when I was handling Arena, it was not doing too well because it's a new thing. I remember clearly a 60-year-old guy, a B2B guy, saying, Rajesh, tera 1 year ke baad, you won't survive in Philips. So that was fundamental. It put me down to hell. Trust me. I was shaking because I know I was not doing well. He was right. And this opportunity of radio handling, and the things turned around. The same guy, after 2 years, walked up to me and he said that you would be the youngest general manager in this company. So what I tend to say with that, don't fear. If somebody has said it, first evaluate what was the core learning, why he said it, and then move on to the next guy whom you think would be positive about your idea. Just because of one man's thought, your idea cannot be bad. As simple as that. Search 10 people. If 7 people say that it is bad, it is bad. Because that's the power of data, right? But one guy cannot determine if it's good or bad.
Thank you very much. With this, guys, if you have more questions, don't let the speakers go. And right now it's the time for you to go for coffee break.